Shalawam, Shabbat, Shalawam, Yasharahla. All praises be unto thee, O Most High Yahweh, Bahasham, Amashiach, Yahweh. Back with another one, Israel. This one is a specific request. I got asked to do a lesson on this one, the saints, because I've made reference to the Israelites being the saints mentioned within the scriptures. So what I want to do is I want to dissect it and I want to provide the information that was requested. So all praises is hopefully this one is edifying for you and for all. So the saints, are the Israelites really the saints of the scriptures? What we want to do then, we can go and start Israel in Revelation. So we want Revelation chapter 13 and 10. So verse 10 reads, Israel, he that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So from here we read the saints are patiently waiting. They are patiently waiting for a certain thing to reverse. I'll read it again, Israel. It is quite plain upon tables, but I'll read it again, Israel. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. So that's what we, the Israelites, are actually waiting to occur. So let's go and prove the point that we are the Israelites, the saints that are being spoken of here. So we want Psalms chapter 50 and 5. Bear in mind now, Israel, we are doing the saints. The Israelites are the saints. So Psalms 50 and 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. Whom has made a covenant with God? Only the Israelites. For they have a covenant by sacrifice. For example, we used to do the sacrificial law. Today, we are unable to, but it still goes into what it's talking about. It's talking about these laws, statutes, and commandments that have been handed down unto Israel and none else. And in this verse, those people are being called the saints. So again, Psalm 50 and 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. Now let's go further. We remain in Psalms, but we want 149. So that's Psalm 149 and 1. And verse 1. Praise ye the Lord. Sing unto the Lord a new song, and his praise in the congregation of the saints. Let Israel rejoice. It's right there. Again, 149 verse 1. Praise ye the Lord. Sing unto the Lord a new song, and his praise in the congregation of saints. Let Israel rejoice in him that made him. Let the children of Zion be joyful in their king. So the context is Israel. So the saints are Israel's. Saints in the congregation are Israelites. We go down a little further now. Let's go to verse 4 and I'll go through to 9 to show a point. Let the saints, I'll start from verse 4, Salaka Israel. For the Lord taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. Again, there's a clear hint there who the saints are. They are his people. For the Lord taketh pleasure in his people. He will beautify the meek with salvation. Verse 5. Let the saints, the context of not change. Let the saints be joyful in glory. Let them sing aloud upon their beds. Let the high praises of God be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye Yahweh. And all of what we read from there, from about verse 6 down to verse 9, is basically what was being referred to in the very first verse, which is Revelation 13 and 10. So this is what the saints are waiting for. The saints are waiting to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron, to execute upon them the judgment written. This honor have all his saints. Praise ye the Lord. So from verse 1 through to 9, it's really quite clear. It screams, Israelites are the saints. So we can leave Psalm now, Israel, and we want to go have a look at 1 Corinthians chapter 6. So it's 1 Corinthians chapter 6, and we want verse 2, and I'll go through to verse 3. Do ye not know that the saints shall judge the world? And if the world shall be judged by you, are ye unworthy to judge the smallest matter? Know ye not that we shall judge angels? How much more things that pertaineth to this life? And as we know, everything pertaineth unto the children of Israel. So again, the children of Israel are the saints. And they are being told here, do you not know that we will judge the world? So from there, Yasharahla, we want to go to Matthew chapter 19. Book of the Prophets. Matthew chapter 19 and verse 21. Verse 21. I will go through to verse 29. There's a bit there. Yahushua said unto him, if thou wilt be perfect, go and sell that thou hast, and give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me. But when the young man heard that saying, he went away sorrowful, for he had great possession. Of course, he has great possession. Jump down to verse 27, Israel. Then answered Peter and said unto him, behold, we have forsaken all and have followed thee. What shall we have therefore? And Yahushua said unto them, verily I say unto you, that ye which have followed me in the regeneration, when the Son of Man shall sit in the throne of his glory, he shall sit upon 12 thrones. Ye also shall sit upon 12 thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Israel, reflecting what was being said earlier on about judging the world. It's referring to the Israelites. They are the saints. So I could go down to verse 29, which reads, and everyone that has forsaken houses, or brethren, or sister, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold and shall inherit everlasting life. And we know everlasting life is for the saints. The saints shall gain the kingdom. And furthermore, Yahushua was only speaking to the Israelites. So again, whatever is being said here pertaineth only unto the Israelites. So let's go back to Psalm for a bit. What we want is Psalm 148. Go to Psalm 148 and we want verse 14. So that's Psalm 148 and 14. 14 reads, he also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints. Psalm 148 and verse 14. He also exalted, held high, the horn of his people, the Israelites, the praise of all his saints, even the children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye Yahweh. And there it's like drop the mic sort of thing going on there. That is just playing up on tables. Psalm 148 and 14. He also exalteth the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even the children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye Yahweh, for we are chosen, as was said in Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6. So we can now go and have a look at 7 and 8. So we step down from Deuteronomy 7 and 6, which we don't have to do, and do verse 8, Israel, straight to the point. And verse 8 reads, But because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, hath the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeem you out of the house of bondmen, from the hand of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. So again, I only go there to show that the Israelites are the saints. There's many things we can look at which shows that, but all things must be plain and transparent. So let's go to Romans chapter 1, Israel. So we want Romans chapter 1 and verse 7. And verse 7 reads, Yasharahla. To all that be in Rome, beloved of God, called to be saints, grace to you and peace from God, our Father and Lord Jesus Christ. So from Deuteronomy 7 and 8, we just established that the Israelites are the beloved of God, for God beloved them, so he chose them. So the Israelites are the beloved of God. So Paul is speaking to the Israelites scattered in Rome, which is a whole other topic, but just to stay on point. In here also it is quite clear that the Israelites are the saints. So Romans chapter 1 and verse 7, and I'll go through to verse 9. To all that be in Rome, beloved of God, called to be saints, grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Mashiach Yahushai. First, I thank my God through Yahushai for you all, that your faith is spoken of throughout the whole world. For God is my witness, whom I serve with my spirit in the gospel of his Son, that without ceasing I make mention of you always in my prayers. So Paul is speaking to the saints, whom are the Israelites. So let's go back into the Torah, well, not the Torah, the Tanakh, and see what Daniel 7 and 18 is saying. So that is Daniel chapter 7 and verse 18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever and ever, which is what was being referred to in Matthew 19 earlier, where it said for you to leave house, your riches, and leave everything and follow on to Christ. What you would get is basically, the disciples will basically be sat on 12 thrones judging the nation of Israel, which is salvation. So they have got salvation. And that is what is actually being referred to here in Daniel 18. For the saints, but the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever. It's the kingdom of heaven. The saints gets that, the Israelites. We can stay in Daniel and we can have a step back and have a look at Daniel chapter 2 and 44. So Daniel chapter 2 and verse 44. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. Again, to break into pieces all these kingdoms, meaning all these nations, is referring back to Revelation 13:10, what we are waiting for. And it is also the very same thing that was being said in Psalm 149 also. It's the very same thing. But it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. So the kingdom of heaven shall stand forever. And we know the kingdom of heaven is for the saints. Again, salvation is for the saints. It's Israel. I will read that from the top, go through all of it. Daniel chapter 2 and verse 24. And in the day of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people. It shall not be left to other people. There is no other nation of people that is going to have their hand on the kingdom of heaven. This pertaineth only unto Israel. This pertaineth only unto the saints. So from there, Israel, I want to go back to Revelation. But now I want Revelation chapter 14 and 12. So chapter 14 and 12 Revelation. Here is the patience of the saints, the Israelites. Here are they that keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus the Christ. So here it is also letting you know that the Israelites are the saints, for these laws were handed down unto the Israelites and none else. So hopefully this lesson was edifying, and you can see clearly that you are the saints spoken of. But in order to gain the kingdom, there is things required of the saints, and that is to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Yahweh, Bahasham, Hamashiach, Kwamelak, Yahweh Shai. So I bid you, Israel, I bid you, farewell. Until next time. Shalawam.